Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a dark and shocking true crime story from Hong Kong. This is a true crime story that is so disturbing, it still haunts people to this day. It happened in 1999, and it involves a crime so shocking that it became known worldwide. At the center of this case is a young woman named Fan Manyee, who went through unimaginable pain before she lost her life. But what makes this story even more chilling is how the killers tried to hide what they did. They used a Hello Kitty doll in a way that no one could ever imagine. This video will be long because there's so much to cover. So, if you're ready to hear about one of the most horrifying crimes ever reported, sit back, grab a snack if you need one, and let's begin. And if you like true crime stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Before we get into the terrifying details of what happened, let's talk about Fan Manyee and who she was. Fan was born in 1976 in Hong Kong. She didn't have an easy childhood. Her family struggled with money, and she didn't have the kind of support that many kids need to grow up safely. She ended up in an orphanage at a young age, separated from her family. Growing up in an orphanage meant that life was tough. Without proper guidance, Fan made some bad choices. As a teenager, she got involved with drugs, which only made things harder for her. As she grew older, she had to find a way to survive. She started working as a hostess in a nightclub. This job involved entertaining customers, talking to them, and sometimes doing more than just serving drinks. It was dangerous, but it helped her make money to support herself. At one point, she got married and had a son. But her marriage didn't last, and she was left to raise her child on her own. People who knew Fan said she was quiet and just wanted a better life. But working in a nightclub meant she met dangerous people, and one of them was a man named Chan Man-lok. That meeting changed her fate forever. Chan Man-lok was a 34-year-old man who was involved in Hong Kong's criminal underworld. He was part of a triad, which is an organized crime group involved in illegal activities like drug dealing and loan sharking. Fan met him while working at the nightclub, and he became one of her regular customers. At first, he seemed like just another man looking for entertainment. But things took a dark turn when Fan made a mistake that would cost her everything. One day, she took Chan's wallet. Inside, there was about 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is around $500 today. For most people, losing that amount of money would be frustrating, but not life-changing. But for a triad member like Chan, it was about respect. He felt disrespected, and he wanted to make Fan pay for what she had done. But his idea of punishment was not something any normal person could imagine. On March 17, 1999, Chan, along with his two associates, Leung Shing-cho and Leung Wai-lun, came up with a plan. They tracked Fan down, grabbed her, and forced her into a car. They took her to an apartment in Sin Short Sui, a busy district in Hong Kong. At first, Fan might have thought they were just going to scare her. But what happened next was far beyond any kind of revenge. The apartment on Granville Road looked like any other in the city. From the outside, it was just a normal building in a crowded area. But inside, it became a place of nightmares. The men tied Fan up, making sure she had no way to escape. At first, they told her she would have to work off her debt by being forced into prostitution. That alone is terrifying, but things quickly became much worse. Days passed, and the men started torturing her. At first, they beat her, they used their fists, kicked her with their boots, and even hit her with sticks and metal bars. Fan was small and weak compared to them. She couldn't fight back. She was completely at their mercy, and they had none. They saw her as an object, not a person. They laughed while hurting her. This went on for weeks. As time passed, the torture escalated to something beyond comprehension. The men found new ways to cause pain. They melted wax from candles and poured it onto her skin, watching as it left severe burns. They heated plastic drinking straws until they melted, and then dripped the hot plastic onto her legs. The pain was unbearable, but they didn't stop. They forced her to eat things no human should ever have to, just to humiliate her even more. They poured chili sauce and oil into her wounds to make them burn. They starved her, barely giving her any food or water. To make things worse, they forced her to take drugs, possibly methamphetamine, to keep her awake and make her feel the pain even more intensely. For over a month, Fan endured this nightmare. Her body became weaker and weaker. Eventually, between April 14th and April 16th, 1999, she couldn't take it anymore. She died. The men later claimed she overdosed on drugs, but with everything they had done to her, it's impossible to know if that was true. Regardless, she was gone. Most criminals, after committing such a horrifying crime, might panic and try to cover it up. But what these men did next was beyond horrifying. They decided to get rid of her body in a way that no one would ever suspect. They took her into the bathroom, used knives and saws, and cut her body into pieces. To make sure no one would find out, they boiled some of her remains in a pot, trying to break them down into smaller pieces. Then, they threw most of her remains out with the trash. But one part of her remained, the part that made this case infamous. They took her skull, cleaned it, and sewed it inside a large Hello Kitty mermaid doll. They thought no one would ever check inside it. This innocent-looking toy became a horrific hiding place for what they had done. For a while, the men thought they had gotten away with it. But something unexpected happened. A girl came forward. She was the girlfriend of one of the men, and had been in the apartment at times. She claimed she was being haunted by Fan's ghost. She had nightmares and couldn't sleep. She felt guilty and couldn't live with what she knew. She went to the police and told them everything. The officers investigated the apartment on May 24, 1999. When they found the Hello Kitty doll, they cut it open. Inside, they discovered Fan's skull. They also found a tooth and some of her organs. It was enough to prove that something terrible had happened. In 2000, the trial for the three men began. They admitted to torturing Fan, but claimed they never intended to kill her. Because her body was so badly destroyed, there was no way to prove the exact cause of death. The jury found them guilty of manslaughter, not murder. They were sentenced to life in prison, but were given the chance for parole for 20 years. The Hello Kitty murder case shocked Hong Kong and the world. It remains one of the most disturbing crimes in history. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.